Well, we've made it to week 5. I can't believe it. So today we're going to talk about fractions for math. That's what we're going to work on all week. I made this fraction vocabulary reference sheet. We've talked about this a little bit. We didn't spend a ton of time on fractions, so I thought that this week would be a good time to kind of refresh our memories. So let's talk about what a fraction is. It represents a part of a whole. Okay, so if we're talking about pizza and you say, I ate 1/2 of the pizza, you didn't eat all of it, you ate half of it. Okay, and there are two parts to a fraction. We've got the top number, which is the numerator, and that names the parts of being identified or counted, like how many pieces of the pizza did you eat. The bottom number is the denominator. That's the total number of parts there were. So how many pieces of pizza were there? There were 6. And how many did you eat? 2 of them. Okay? You can represent fractions in several different ways. So a unit fraction represents one part. Okay, that means the top number is always 1. We've got 1 piece of this pie shaded, so that's a unit fraction. Okay, parts of a whole. Okay, this is, this looks like a Hershey's chocolate bar to me. It's one whole piece, the whole rectangle, but then it's got smaller little pieces, and 1 is shaded. That means I eat 1 piece of the Hershey chocolate bar. And then this is a set of circles. Maybe these are cookies, okay? There are 2 out of 6 shaded in. Okay, so we're just going to use this for our reference. This should be pretty easy, especially today. There's only 10 questions. All right, so number 1 says, what fraction of the circle is shaded? So step 1, we need to count how many pieces there are to this circle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the top, and I'm actually going to write down and number the pieces. So 1, 2, and I'm going around like a clock. Okay, so there are 8 pieces. So that is the total, which means our bottom number has to be 8. So that eliminates B and C from our answer choices. Okay, to figure out whether our top number, what our top number is, we just have to count how many are shaded. And that would be 1, 2, 3. So our answer is A. If this were a chocolate pie, and out of the 8 pieces, you ate 3 of them, that's what the picture represents. Number 2, put the following fractions in order from least to greatest. Okay, so we have not practiced this one, but I know that using the pictures, we can do it. We have 3 pictures. This one represents a third. This one is half. This one is 1/4. We're going to look at the shaded portion of our picture, and we're going to go from the piece with, or the circle with the most shading, all the way down to the least shading. So let's say these are pizzas. Which pizza had the most eaten from it? Which pizza has the biggest shaded portion? It's going to be the middle one, 1/2, okay? It definitely has the biggest piece shaded. So 1/2 goes first, which means A is not it, C is not it, D is not it, B is it. Okay? All we had to do was that one. But then let's look at the other one. I'm going to use my finger to cover this one up. Okay, which one would go next? Is this shaded piece bigger or smaller than this one? It is bigger, so it would go 1/2, 1/3, 1/4. Okay, number 3, we are going to compare. We're going to use the greater than, less than, or equal to. I really like how they wrote that out next to the answer. So we're going to go from left to right. We're going to compare 1/2 to 1/3. So looking at this pizza, does this have a bigger piece eaten or compared to this, or does it have a smaller piece eaten? This pizza has a bigger piece shaded than this pizza. So that means that 1/2 is greater than 1/3. Number 4, there are 8 children at the table eating lunch. 4 of the children are girls. What fraction of the children are girls? Okay, so I know you can probably see on your paper, if I had printed this in color, the word 8 and 4 would have been a different color. But since I'm trying to save on ink, I printed it black and white. So I'm going to underline. Those are the important pieces of information. First, we need to figure out how many kids total were at the table. That'll help me with that's the bottom number. It says there are 8 children, boys and girls. That means our bottom number has to be 8. So we're going to cross out B and cross out D. Okay, now the top number, we need to find out how many of the kids were girls. And that's the second one we underlined. It says 4 of the children are girls. What fraction of children are girls? That's 4. Oh, okay. You know what? Oh boy. And I didn't use a erasable pen. Okay. So this is going to be a little confusing. I didn't know they were going to have us reduce our fractions. We were not quite ready for that. So if you notice, our top number should be 4, and we don't have one of those options left. So what we're going to do is just write our answer out to this side, okay? 4 out of the 8 children are girls. Now, if we were reducing our fractions, making these numbers smaller if possible, the correct answer would be D. So if you want to circle D, even though we already crossed it out, it's okay. Just write 4 out of 8 over to the side. Reducing fractions, that's something that I want us to work on in class, in person, so we'll worry about that when we get back to school. So for now, if we come across something like that, we'll just write our answer out to the side. It's no big deal. Okay, number 5. It says complete the equation to make it equivalent. Oh boy, okay. All right, let me see here. I'll use my pen. All right, if you've got a pen, pencil, marker, I want you to go ahead and take this circle and draw a line all the way through the center. Cut it in half. And then I want you to do the same thing but going across. Okay, what we've done is we've taken the circle and made 4 big pieces out of it, okay, with little pieces in between. What we need to do now is go ahead and number our little pieces. Okay, again, I went around like a clock. All right. So let me grab a different color. I don't know if that made that better or worse. Okay, our big lines that cut the circle in half, top to bottom and side to side. If we ignore all the little pieces, we've got, and I'll write it out to the side, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 big pieces, okay? And out of the 4 big pieces, one of them is shaded. That's where we get the 1 out of 4. Okay, we have 4 big pieces, 1 is shaded. Now, ignore the big pieces. We're going to look at the little pieces now, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to 12. How many of those are shaded? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the fraction 3 over 12 is the same thing as the fraction 1 over 4. Okay, number 6, what fraction of the rectangle is shaded? So step 1, we have to figure out our bottom number. How many pieces are there altogether? So I'm going to count. Okay, there are 7 pieces altogether. So I know my bottom number is going to be 7, so we can cross those out. How many are shaded? The first 4. So A is our answer. Number 7, which square has the greatest shaded region? So look at each square. Which one has most of the square shaded gray? If you think it's B, you are correct. All right, number 8. Again, we're comparing this fraction of 1/3 compared to this fraction of 2/3. Is this fraction bigger than this one, the shaded portion, I mean, or is it smaller? It is smaller. Okay, so we're going to say less than. So both circles are cut into 3 pieces. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one only has 1 piece shaded. This one has 2 pieces shaded. So that means the 1/3 circle has less shading than the 2/3 circle. And number 9, there are 3 soccer balls and 2 footballs. What fraction of the balls are soccer balls? Okay, step 1, find the total number. So we're going to just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and it's asking what fraction are soccer balls. So how many soccer balls are there? 1, 2, 3. So that means 3 is our top number. The total was 5, which was our bottom number. So our fraction is 3 over 5. And that would be A. Okay, number 10. Find the equivalent fraction of 1/2. And you can see they've got an equal sign right here. We've talked about this before, that the word equivalent has the beginning of the word equal in it. They sound very similar. So we have to figure out which of these fractions down here represents 1/2. Okay, there is a pretty easy way to do this. It's going to require a calculator though, and I don't have my calculator handy, so give me just a second. Well, and I'm out of luck. I don't have a calculator, and my old cell phone is dead at the moment. I really didn't plan. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, and we're going to draw. Okay, I'm going to draw a rectangle, kind of like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to draw one of these. It has six pieces to it. Now, this is not going to be fancy. Remember, I don't teach art. Okay, there's my rectangle. It has 6 boxes, and our first answer choice says 2 out of 6. Okay. So that's A. B is 1 out of 6. So I'm going to draw the same thing, but I'm only going to shade 1. C is 3 out of 6. And D is 5. All right. Which one of my pictures represents 1/2? Let's say it's a chocolate cake, or even, again, the Hershey's chocolate bar. Which picture represents that you ate half of it? If you picked C, you are correct. Look, 1, 2, 3 got eaten. 1, 2, 3 were left alone. It's the same. The same number of pieces were eaten as were left. Okay? I hope that wasn't super confusing. So we're going to go with 3, that was C, 3 over 6. Tomorrow, for our math paper, I will make sure that my old cell phone is charged and ready to be used as a calculator, and I'll show you a way we can figure it out with that. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.